But the topic I learned this week is a process in nature called masting. But you're saying, hey, Bobby, what is masting? Well, I didn't know either. But let me tell you how I came about it. So I've lived in my house for 10 years now, and we have a few nut trees. We have one in our yard, a hickory tree, and then my neighbor has some oak trees and another hickory tree, and all those nuts seem to fall into my yard. But this year, it has been incredible. I have never seen so many nuts in my life. I go out, I take a 5-gallon bucket, and in 5 minutes, I have the thing filled. It's truly an amazing thing. So I was like, being a curious mind, I was like, let me look into this. Like, why do trees some years produce a lot of nuts, seeds, whatever, and other years hardly any or very few that you notice? So that process is called masting, and it's actually a coordinated approach. And by coordinated, I mean trees somehow communicate with each other and let them know when they're going to do this mast year, and all the trees do it. So this year, the trees have coordinated, and it's almost like they've conspired against me in a lot of ways because I spend way too many hours picking up nuts. Because I mean, these are some big ones. These hickory nuts are probably the size of golf balls, and you can't mow over them. It's like walking around on marbles. But the beautiful thing about masting is that trees do this, and they do it every so often. Maybe every 2 to 3, 5 years, whatever. But why do they do it? And what application does it have for us in the easy, hard versus hard pursuit? Well, trees will conserve their energy, and they'll conserve it for years. And then one year, they'll produce all these nuts at one time. But they don't do it every single year. They do it, and then they rest. They do it again later on. It's this cycle that they do because they know they need to populate and grow more trees, hence the purpose of the nut to begin with. But at the same time, they know that they can't do this every year. So when I read this, I was like, wow, what a beautiful phenomenon that nature has given us that we can learn from. How many of us go out every single day and just keep doing, and we work ourselves to the point of exhaustion? I know I certainly am guilty of this, and I'm probably the last person in the world to even have a podcast about talking about appropriate effort and keeping your energy down on days you don't need to, because in the culture that we live in, more is more. But in nature, these trees, less is more. So this year, they're having a mast year. They are really working hard, just throwing nuts everywhere, and while it's frustrating to me because it's in my yard, it's a great reminder that, hey, do work when the time is right. Let's call it your mast year. Maybe it's your mast week, mast day, mast month. But when you get to a point, know that that has to come with some rest. You have to be able to balance what you're producing with restoring your body. And that's exactly what the tree does. The tree will work all this year, and then take 1, 2, 5 years to recover. And sure, they're going to produce some nuts. They're going to do some effort for the next few years, but they're not going to have this massive output like we're seeing this year. And what can we learn from that? Can we start balancing the work that we do? Can we start being more mindful about working in a way that's appropriate for a time, but followed by rest in another time? I learned this week, but I personally observed it this week. Yesterday was a day I just woke up and I just wasn't feeling right. I wasn't firing on all cylinders. It just felt sluggish. It would be like we talked about earlier. It would be a day that if I had to do something, I would have had to really find some self-motivation, some self-inspiration to keep doing what I needed to do. But I took a message from the trees, and I treated yesterday like it was a mast day. And I can tell you what, I woke up this morning feeling more fresh than I had in forever. And as I was doing my workout this morning, I was thinking, wow, how many times over the past 47 years have I not listened to my body? Have I not valued rest? had I not listened to or observed how nature responds. My dogs are often sleeping 18, 20 hours a day. Well, they know that that's what they need to do to give themselves the energy to do what they do the rest of the time, right? Animals do it all the time. We see raccoons at night, but you don't see them much during the day. Deer, same thing. They're there certain periods of the day, then you don't see them again. So all of nature, everything around us follows the principle of work and rest. But we as humans seem to circumvent that. It's very easy today. We have computers, we have laptops, we have phones, we have all this technology, and we're just go, 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 go. But what if we all just took a moment and allowed ourselves to rest? And I'm talking full rest. In religion, they have the Sabbath or a holy day or whatever they may call it. Maybe we should learn from that. Maybe we should take a day out of our week and do nothing. Conserve our energy. Don't do any electronics. Don't do any heavy work. Really focus on meditating and reading and making our minds better, calming ourselves down, working on our parasympathetic nervous system, really bringing ourselves to a lower stress, a lower intensity, so that when we do start work the next day or the day after, we're more prepared. So I encourage everyone this week, to start thinking about your MAST period. When are you going to take a break? When are you going to work hard? Now, don't fall into the easy, hard trap of, oh, I'm just going to do nothing day after day after day, because that's not going to fulfill your mind. That's not going to fulfill your spirit. And even the trees, they don't do it. Like I said, on their off years, they're still producing nuts. They're still going about the daily activities of being a tree. So we need to find that balance, though, because if we don't, it's going to lead to burnout. And it's going to lead to cognitive decline and a lack of well-being, a lack of joy, could even lead to depression. I wonder if a lot of my depression and anxiety that I struggled through was this just need to keep producing, and even more importantly, the need to keep produce for things that I didn't even care about.